We recently recalled the times that games freaked you right out by suddenly becoming spookily self-aware. But oh my word, turns out that was only the first step on a long ladder down into the murky depths of fourth wall shattering freakiness, as you lot chimed in with other instances of games getting meta out of nowhere. Here are your suggestions for moments the game was so meta it freaked you out, man. Beware minor spoilers for the following.
It's not controversial to say that Kirby is the most powerful character in video game history, and it's only by Kirby's mercy that any of us live at all. But even with this cast iron fact established, we wouldn't have credited Kirby with the power to break the internal logic of their own game. Then again, we hadn't counted on Nintendo's marshmallowy platform hero becoming even more powerful. Commenter Michael Gleghorn, however, did, noting, Kirby Triple Deluxe allows you to use Hypernova to suck up all sorts of weird stuff, including boss health bars. It's true. Firstly, some background. In Kirby's Triple Deluxe, our hero awakes to find that the wicked Tyranza has had the gall to use a magical beanstalk to transport Kirby's home far into the sky. Well, Kirby just goes ape. Aiding Kirby in the ensuing and inevitable rampage is an all-new power-up called Miracle Fruit. When consumed, this food item turns Kirby Hypernova, which is every bit as awe-inspiring as it sounds. Hypernova sees Kirby's insides turned into what the game calls a veritable black hole. Suddenly imbued with the power of a collapsing star, Kirby's now rainbow-coloured body has the kind of galaxy-destroying raw energy that makes short work of everything in its path. Hypernova is even strong and meta enough to dismantle the game's on-screen graphics, as evidenced by what happens here when Kirby applies a Hypernova vacuum to the game's final boss, and by extension, their life bar. Yes, Kirby inhales life now, if you needed a new thing to lie awake and worry about.
Along with fast travel and regenerating health, being able to return to an old save and try again is one of the many things that makes video games infinitely preferable to real life. And what better game in which to rinse the save system for all it's worth than Undertale, a quirky RPG in which your choices can wildly affect how the game unfolds. Key to getting the best ending is going through the whole game without killing anything. But this is understandably not obvious to new players, who, in time-honoured tradition, might well do battle with the enemies they encounter early on. Including motherly goat person Toriel, who it turns out is determined to hold you indefinitely inside her house, and therefore must be fought, you would reasonably assume. Kick Toriel's goat butt, and your next stop is Flowey, a jerk flower who has this to say about what you just did. Well, joke's on you, you flower idiot, because I'm playing a game and I can go back and make different choices by reloading and not killing Toriel, because you're coding a game and I'm in real life. So lol at you. But the lols were in fact at us, as anyone who tried this trick in Undertale will attest, including commenter Musicur, who writes, I have to say, being called out by Flowey in Undertale when you kill Toriel and then reload a save to spare her takes the cake. Yep, at first everything seems good and fine, as restarting and figuring out how to non-violently win the fight against Toriel will indeed see your adorable goat mum spared from a grisly demise. But this time around, your little tete-a-tete with Flowey goes, well, like this. Yep, it turns out in a terrifying meta moment, Flowey knows exactly what you tried to pull and calls you on it, which can mean only one of two things. Either A, Undertale is flagging your decisions permanently within the game code and in your cloud saves, or B, Undertale is real, Flowey is real, flowers are conscious and judging our every move. I think we all know which is more likely. Don't tell me this flower doesn't hate me.
As far as fictional characters go, Deadpool has broken more fourth walls than an over-caffeinated demolition squad. In fact, his entire 2013 game was packed with so many jokes about you playing the video game and him being in a video game that we were surprised that they could fit an actual video game on the disc.
What is this cheap from? Well, this was clearly made by a junior artist.
Yes, we get it, Deadpool. It's a video game. But even when not in his own game, his thirst to be the most meta comic character in existence still has to be quenched, as noted by Max Littlewood. When Deadpool beats you with the health bar in Marvel vs. Capcom is amazing. Indeed, in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Deadpool was on the Marvel roster, and he not only brought guns to a fighting game, but also continued to be super meta when we least expected it. One of his hyper combos, aptly named Fourth Wall Crisis, had Deadpool grab his own health bar and his hyper combo bar, promptly using them to bludgeon his opponents.
A bar in your face! Feel the love of the hyper combo! And it's a hyper combo!
Yeah, we get it, Wade, it's a video game. Yeesh. Though it's pretty appropriate for the merc with a mouth to turn something that represents a player's health into a weapon against them, it was a definite shock for anyone on the receiving end of it.
Player one win! I get the cover of the next Street Fighter for this, right, Capcom?
Yeah, I'm really glad this is just a video game. Whew.
The S3 is a system for controlling human will and consciousness. S3 is not you, a soldier trained in the image of Solid Snake.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of the most meta games ever created. I mean, the word meta is right there in the title, before Gear Solid 2. But how much more self-aware could a game get when it already contains a twist that main character Raiden has actually been trapped inside a huge video game-style simulation?
You, Dead Cell, Olga, you're all nothing but pawns placed to create the perfect simulation.
The answer is a bit of dialogue that freaks out many a Metal Gear player, including commenter Inevitable Traitor, who says, "I love the late game sequence in MGS2 when the Colonel starts scolding you for playing the game so long and tells you to turn it off. Seriously thought I was hallucinating that at 3 AM. To be fair, that's not an unreasonable thing to assume, especially as the Colonel's scolding takes place during a part of the game that has Raiden running around entirely nude, as if he's trapped in a recurring anxiety nightmare. You know, the one where you're back at school and you look down only to realize that you're at the center of a shadowy conspiracy to engineer elite super soldiers every damn night." While Raiden is awkwardly jogging along, covering his shame, he received the following call from the AI pretending to be Colonel Roy Campbell, one that left many players gawping at their TVs in disbelief.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
Don't worry, it's a game. It's a game just like usual.
You'll ruin your eyes playing so close to the TV.
What are you talking about?
The only thing ruined here is my sense of immersion. And also my eyes. Those CRT TVs were no joke.
Up there. Through that chain link gate and up those stairs. Those men you are looking for. Never mind. You wouldn't understand.
It can be tricky to detect when a vampire is lying, like if a vampire says to you,
Hey Mike, you got some lovely cologne on there. Can I lean in for a sniff?
"No, get away, you bad vampire." Okay, that was an easy one, but it's a lot tougher to figure out the truth behind one particular vampire found in 2004 RPG Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Commenter Mandy's Cog remembered this weird meta moment in that game. There's a bit in VTM Bloodlines near the beginning where you meet a psychic on the beach and can give her money to tell your fortune. That psychic is Rosa, a bloodsucker who hangs around Santa Monica Beach in the game's version of Los Angeles and claims to know the future, although it's tough to know if this is true because her premonitions are mostly garbled nonsense.
Why is he smiling? the father? Is it the father behind him?
Despite her spouting only cryptic oddities, if you chat to Rosa for a while, she'll offer to tell you what lies in your future in exchange for $100 that she needs to get out of town.
For $100, I'll tell you what you don't want to hear. I need money to leave this place.
$100 seems like a lot to get out of Santa Monica. Although, if the 405 is jammed, that's an easy $50 fare just to get to Hawthorne. Okay, Rosa, we'll pay up. Rosa's prophecies don't make tons of sense, although what she says does hint at some upcoming events in the game, which is kind of creepy.
He's furious. The man with the crest. The voice in the darkness.
Like if you ask for some advice that might save your life, she says this, which probably refers to a forthcoming encounter with a spooky sarcophagus.
Don't open it.
Much more likely to raise your eyebrows, however, is this fourth wall breaking hint Rosa gives if you ask if you're going to win, which is less a clue about the plot and more a meta jab at video game piracy.
Whether or not you win the game matters not. It's if you bought it.
Whoa, vampires. Way to be crafty.
Oh, hey Mike, yeah, you've got a little bit of fluff on your neck there. Do you mind if I just get that for you?
Sure. Oh!
The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass was a pretty interesting step away from traditional Zelda games. Link and Zelda were of course still in the picture, but the DS's dual screen mixed things up by letting you control Link's movements using the stylus instead of the usual buttons, for instance. And that wasn't the only way Phantom Hourglass harnessed this handheld device, as pointed out by commenter Riff. What about the Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass where you had to close the DS to take a copy of a map? It was pretty meta. Indeed, when you arrive here in the Temple of the Ocean King, you're told to press the sacred crest against the sea chart to transfer it. The Temple of Courage will open to the holder of the Sun Key. Cue tons of confusion amongst players as they tried every button and stylus movement available. Man, who will work this one out so we can finally close this case?
I get it.
Well, funnily enough, close it they did. Literally, as closing the lid of your DS machine was the answer to the puzzle. See, the sacred crest and the sea chart aligned perfectly on the two screens, and players had to press them together IRL in the actual physical world. We have nothing to say to this except
Bartender is shiny stuff and dreams are made of stooped necromancers. He sings like a banana wrist, having strayed too close to the constellations on their shaved skulls.
There was a bad line in the prank call. Someone spouting insane babble. I couldn't make sense of it. But I had an overwhelming sense of deja vu.
You know when you have a run of really bad luck, like you miss the bus and then you get caught in the rain and then the barista messes up the art on your latte foam? The phone's all wonky, how am I supposed to drink that? If so, then you know a little bit of how it feels to be action hero Max Payne. Except Max Payne's bad luck is so extreme, we assume he did a slow motion dive sideways, under a ladder, past a single magpie, through an antique mirror warehouse. Max Payne's family is killed, he gets framed for the murder of his family, and then, to top it all off, he gets drugged with Valkyr, the very drug that caused all the problems in the first place. And while Max is on Valkyr, there's a very meta moment, as pointed out by commenter Torgy Madison. Max Payne drug sequence, one of the eeriest and best fourth wall breaks I've ever played. Upon entering a room with flames covering the walls, not usually a good sign, Max picks up a document and on reading it, learns that he's in a video game. At this point, comic book style cutscene Max is replaced with in-game model Max, and understandably, he freaks the hell out.
Weapon statistics hanging in the air, glimpsed out of the corner of my eye, endless repetition of the act of shooting, time slowing down to show off my moves, the paranoid feel of someone controlling my every step. I was in a computer game. Funny as hell, it was the most horrible thing I could think of.
Really, Max? That's the most horrible thing you can think of? How about a puppy and a kitten having a knife fight? Oh wait, that's actually kind of adorable. Alright Max, you win this round. Anyway, this nightmarish drug-fueled sequence is more meta than a Charlie Kaufman retrospective, and with 50% more slow-motion sideways diving, I assume. I'll be honest, I've never seen a Charlie Kaufman film. Seems like something he'd do. Wait, did he do National Treasure? Was that one of his? They're shaking their heads.
So those were yet more games that decided to go all meta on you and like like make it very aware that, you know, you're playing a video game. Like, what are you doing? Messing with us? So be like, if I was sitting here watching this YouTube video and talking about the fact that it's a YouTube video and that you should like and comment and subscribe, I mean, that would be so weird. It'd be really weird for me to tell you to like click on one of these videos, like about 7 red shirts in space who were just gone, and then creepy Pokemon, like Pokemon who were fine and then got creepy. It'd be really weird if I told you to do that and then click subscribe. Oh, it'd be, ooh. Okay.